Does anyone here know what OSHA stands for? Oh, I see a few of you do. That's good. How many people here know how to use a fire extinguisher? Or the types of fire extinguishers? What about a GFCI outlet? You know, those that you find in your bathroom or in your kitchen? Well, today we will talk about a few of these and more topics involving safety, not only at home, but at work. So let's begin my presentation. Safety starts with you. My name is Justin Sanders. I have 15 years experience in the logistics field, and I have been certified in the OSHA 30-hour general industry training course. In those 15 years, I have 5 of them as an asset protection employee, which means I was responsible for enforcing safety rules and looking out for everyone in the building, making sure OSHA guidelines were followed and everyone went home safely. I'm also a certified forklift trainer. OSHA stands for the Occupational Safety Health Administration. It is a division of the U.S. Department of Labor. OSHA is responsible for the health and safety of all the workers in America, no matter what your occupation is. Prior to 1970, there were no regulations assuring workplace safety. Many people died. As a result, on December 29, 1970, Nixon signed the OSHA Act. And on April 28, 1971, Congress voted and OSHA formally came into being. Since then, many changes have taken place. Many regulations have been added to make sure American workers are safe and healthy. An average of 15 workers die a day from accidents at work. In 2020, OSHA reported about 2.2 cases in every 100 workers. This rate dropped from 2.7 the previous year. There were about 1,176,340 injuries and illnesses that were reported in 2020 that caused at least one day off of work. OSHA's mission is to prevent injuries, save lives, and protect American workers. OSHA tries to do this by minimizing accidents and illnesses in many ways. One way is by providing training to workers around the country and developing safety standards for all employees to enforce and follow. OSHA also tracks and reports injuries and illnesses at work. I am sure there are many injuries or illnesses that do not go reported. This is because people are afraid to report them or do not know their rights. There are usually 2 ways that companies report accidents. One is an OSHA recordable, and the second is known as a non-recordable. A recordable means someone got medical attention and missed time at work. A non-recordable means no time was missed at work, but an accident still happened and was reported. Let me stress, reporting an accident, even if it is minor, is critical. Do not be afraid to report any accidents. Now let's watch a short video explaining your rights when reporting an accident.
Every worker has the right to speak up about dangers in the workplace. If you believe your workplace is unsafe, you have the right to file a complaint. It is illegal for your employer to punish you for exercising this right. Complaints from workers or their representatives are taken seriously by OSHA. Your name will not be given to your employer. It's easy and confidential. Call 800-321-6742 or visit osha.gov/complaint.
Now let's move on to talking a little about personal protective equipment, PPE. There are many types of PPE. Some are obvious, like hard hats and safety glasses. Others are not so obvious, like the mask we wear all day. PPE is used to protect you from hazards at work and at home. Items like steel or composite tools, shoes or boots, or hard hats, gloves, and aprons are some common personal protective equipment. OSHA makes sure your workplace is keeping up with and enforcing the use of PPE. It is important that we all stay safe and go home the way we came in to work. Even keeping a clean and dry workplace is a form of PPE. Before OSHA got started, no one ever wore any type of PPE. This resulted in many injuries. Even today, workers cut corners and do not use the PPE that is provided. They don't put it on or adjust it properly. In other words, they are not trained in the proper use of PPE. It is vital that employees assure their workers are trained in the proper use of PPE. You should never be concerned how you look wearing it. That is not an excuse. You are a major factor in being safe and using PPE correctly. Now let's watch a short video on the importance of PPE.
Protective equipment, or what is better known as PPE, is found in many workplaces, especially in the industrial and health sector. PPE equipment basically provides solutions to risk prevention and management in the work site and avoids untoward accidents to immediately guard the welfare of workers, which ultimately protects workers from sustaining any major injuries. In definition, personal protective equipment are specialized clothing or any other equipment employed by a person employed in a hazardous undertaking for protection against injury from a majority of dangerous elements. It's made to protect a person's body, such as the limbs, head, face, eyes, nose, ears, and some internal organs. Since it is mainly made to protect the integrity of workers' body, it is necessary to understand the importance of and application of Cardinal Rule number 2 to protect all personnel working at ACC.
As you can see from the video, PPE can save your life. Let's talk about a few items of PPE you wear at home while doing common chores. These can be items like oven mitts or hot pad holders, putting on shoes or eye protection when cutting the grass or weed eating. Even putting on dishwasher gloves to wash or rinse dishes are examples of PPE. Please, everyone, be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you are being safe, both at home and at work. Your loved ones, friends, and coworkers depend on you being safe each and every day. Fire extinguishers are a common item both at home and at work. You know how to properly use one if you had to? Today we will touch on the different kinds of fire extinguishers and how to use them. As you can see from the slide, there are 5 different types of common fire extinguishers. Type A is for common combustibles like wood and paper. Type B is for flammable liquids and gases like gasoline and propane. Type C is for live electrical equipment such as computers and fax machines. Type D is for combustible metals such as magnesium and lithium. And type K is used in most restaurants for cooking oils and fats. Now we're going to watch a short video on the use of fire extinguishers and how to properly use the pass technique.
Pass method for putting out a fire. In this video, we'll teach you how to properly use a fire extinguisher using the pass method. When fire strikes at your workplace, be sure to follow these 3 steps. Step 1. Check to make sure the fire extinguisher you have on hand is the correct type of extinguisher to extinguish the type of fire. Type A is used for ordinary combustibles such as wood and paper. Type B extinguishers are used on flammable liquids like gasoline and oil. Type C is for electrical fires, so they can be used on faulty outlets and appliances. Type D is used on flammable metals such as magnesium and titanium. And Class K extinguishers are used when fires involve cooking media, fats, grease, and oils. All commercial cooking sites such as restaurants need this extinguisher. If you don't feel you can safely put out the fire, exit the building immediately. Step 2. With the extinguisher in hand, step 6 to 8 feet away from the fire. Step 3. Use the pass method to put out the fire. P. Pull the pin so that you're able to discharge the extinguisher. A. Aim the extinguisher nozzle at the base of the fire. S. Squeeze the lever to discharge the extinguishing agent. Releasing the lever will stop the discharge. S. Sweep. Pointing the extinguisher at the base of the fire, move the extinguisher from left to right or back and forth in a sweeping motion until the fire is out. When the fire is out, continue to watch the fire to ensure the fire does not ignite once again. If the fire comes back, repeat the pass method. Recap. P. Pull the pin. A. Aim. S. Squeeze. And S. Sweep. Remember, fires can be harmful and fatal, so do not put the fire out yourself unless it's safe to do so. At CQ Fire and Safety, we are a one-stop shop for your fire and safety needs, keeping business OSHA compliant and up to NFPA standards. For more info, visit www.cqfireandsafety.com.
Let's touch one more time on the pass method. It's pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, and sweep. Use a sweeping motion to extinguish the fire. Let's go over just a few electrical safety tips. Don't ever work on anything without making sure there's no power to it. That is probably the most important rule of any electrical work. Make sure there's no power to it. Also, when you grab a plug to take it out of a wall, don't yank it by the cord. Grab the tip of the plug and pull it out. That way you're not damaging any cords that you're using. Also, a really good idea that everybody should use is to keep flashlights handy, because you never know when you're going to lose power, when, I have an ice storm, something like that. So make sure you always keep flashlights handy and plenty of batteries to put in your flashlights. I put this slide on here so I can show you a picture of what a common circuit breaker panel looks like in a home. This way you can at least be familiar with how it looks. As you can see on the door, there's numbered items with a description of what each switch controls. You can use that to make sure there's no power to whatever you are working on in your home or at work. Now let's move on to GFCI outlets. GFCI outlets act like a surge protector. They protect you and whatever is plugged into that outlet or whatever outlet is connected to that GFCI. For instance, your bathroom may have two plugs, one by each sink. One should be a GFCI and the other may not be. But it is likely that they are connected together and the GFCI is controlling the other plug's current flow. They can detect a ground fault in as little as 1/40th of a second. It is the job of a GFCI to detect too much current and shut off immediately. It can be wired in circuits. In other words, every GFCI in your home is connected to the other plugs and there is only one GFCI circuit breaker switch. In my home, they're individual, not chained together. The best way to know this, as I mentioned earlier, is you will have only one switch on your breaker box marked GFCI. Now let me give a demonstration on how to properly install a GFCI outlet.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Justin Sanders and today I'm going to talk to you about installing a GFCI outlet in your house. First of all, let's start by the tools that you need for your install. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, you're going to need a flathead screwdriver, and you're going to need a Sharpie and some colored tape that's not black. Doesn't matter what kind of tape as long as it's not black. Now, there are two different kinds of GFCI outlets commonly found in most homes, a 3-wire and a 5-wire. For this demonstration, we're going to talk about a 5-wire. Okay? This is what a GFCI outlet looks like. It's got a ground connection here, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 connections on the back. Now, before we talk about that, let's talk about how it would look on your wall. It's going to look somewhere like this behind a normal plate. The plate's going to have either 1 or 2 screws. Most likely they're going to be flathead. So you take the plate off with your flathead screwdriver, then you're going to see this. There's a screw here and a screw here which holds this in place so it doesn't move. These are generally Phillips head. So you'll take this screw completely out, this screw completely out, pull out your outlet. Now, on the back of your outlet, at the top, there's a load, which is power coming into it, and there's a line, which usually, if you have another outlet connected to it, that's where it hooks up. On one side, you'll see where it says white. On the other side, you'll see where it says hot wire. The hot wire is generally black. So, what I would do is if you have a white, a black, and a green for your ground, I would take your Sharpie, like this. I would put one mark, one simple dash on the top wire that comes in on the white side. Then on the bottom wire, I would put 2. And then corresponding on your outlet, you would put 1, 2, like that, on the outlet you're going to install. Now, you go to the black side. The problem with this is you can't use it on your black wire. That's what your tape is for. Take a little piece of tape that you have that's not black, rip it up, and wrap it around the wire that you're actually going to install on this top part. So you can tear a little piece of tape off like this. Now on your outlet itself, you're going to put that piece of tape. Now, the only other black wire is the other one. You don't need to mark that. So now, you're going to take your screwdriver and you're going to loosen this up. And I'm going to show you up close how these work. Inside here is where you would put your wire. As you loosen these screws, it gets wider. So, you simply take your marked wires that you marked, 1, 2, the white one, put the 1 in the 1, tighten up, 2, tighten up. Your tape part, tighten up, and your bottom one, tighten up. And then you put your green, because all ground wires are going to be green in your ground spot. Once you're done basically. At that point, you just put these screws back in, and then you put your plate back in, and you're done. I hope that makes it easy and simple for you to install a